Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And I'm Callie, also known as Calsters.
And today is Sunday, March 29th, 2015. This is episode 204. And
This is Ernest.
you are?
We already did
Oh, see, he got me distracted. He said, I want to be in on the introduction. Sorry, you won't see Corn Dog today. He's downstairs with Dad. Dad's off of work, so. And Corn Dog can't do the stairs by himself still. So we've been trying to train him. We'll put him like 5 stairs above the kitchen floor and make him go down. But them stairs are steep. So.
And slick.
Yeah. So, anyway. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more week. You'll know this adorable face. Yes. If you're new, you have no idea who I'm talking about. Ernest is our puppy. This is Ernest. I'm sounding like my mom. You know, when a parent gets the children confused. Anyway. This is Ernest. He's our Yorkie. He's going to be 5? Yes. 5 in July, I believe. And Cornelius is our puppy, who's a Cairn Terrier. So, we've had him for maybe 3 months now. Something like that. Anyway, boy, discombobulated. Week in review. I taught all week, and I thought it was going to be an extremely long week because it was the week before spring break, but it wasn't too bad. And in fact, I did a makeup day on Friday because I would have had to start new lessons with both of my sections of classes, and I was like, I don't want to start a lesson and then have to wait a whole week to finish it, so we'll do makeup, and the kids needed it. So that was not too stressful of a day. And yeah, didn't go to knit night because of one reason or another. I had a faculty meeting. That was pretty quick, but boring. And, yeah, nothing really too exciting. Just show prep for YarnCon, and I'm on spring break this week, so I'm hoping to get a lot of crafting done this week. But again, show prep. But we're actually doing pretty well on show prep, so but I'll talk about that later. So before I get off on a tangent again. Blah. Callie, would you please help me get my foot out of my mouth and start talking? Thank you.
My last 2 weeks, one, I would like to say thank you for everyone that wished me well to get better. Last week, I feel a lot better than what I did. We've had like this strange flu going on in central Illinois, so it's been hitting the schools really, really hard, and it's been like predominant in our local healthcare establishments. Like, it seems like everyone that I work with, either their kid has gotten it or their school has gotten it. I mean, it's like, it's getting real bad. But I hopefully, this past week was spring break for a lot of the schools around where I work at. And so hopefully, you know, those germs kind of got gone with vacation or another. So hopefully things are on the mend, but I just caught a little bit of it, so it was not near as bad as what a lot of the kiddos had. So yay for flu vaccination that covered 95% of that, you know, because there's new strains that come out after the flu vaccination. So
I didn't get one this year.
Well, that's lame on your part.
They usually offer it at my school for free, and I don't know if they did it or if they did it in another school, and I just was lazy and was like, I'm not going to another school.
So, last week was really busy. This week that just happened has been really, really chaotic. My big boss was gone on vacation for a week because her kids are in a school district that had spring break. And then my mid-level boss was doing a lot of catching up and stuff because Friday she started her medical leave. So there was a lot of I's being dotted and T's being crossed. So she will be off for at least a month and a half, if not 2 months. So wishing her good thoughts on her procedure that she's undergoing on Monday. And then my coworker was also dotting I's and crossing T's because she's going on spring break with her sister. So literally next week I will be the only one in. I mean, my boss is going to be there, but she's not necessarily a part of our staff. In that sense, you know, of like who you can rely on to get stuff done. I mean, she's got her own agenda and topics to cover. So that was, this past week has been really, here's my leftover to-do list. Here's what I need to do while I'm gone. I got like 3 to-do lists, so that I gotta start working on Tuesday, because tomorrow, we're recording on Sunday. Tomorrow, Monday, I will be visiting my friend from Michigan and her daughter Calliope. I've made them a baby blanket before, and I'm really looking forward to it because I texted my friend Emma and I said, you know, what time do you want to have me meet you guys there? Because she's staying with her mom in a suburb outside of Chicago. And she was like, whenever. She said, we're going to talk and you're going to be free labor, because she's doing a huge baby show where she's making bibs and like suckers and like suck pads are like the things that like go around like strollers things and safety belts, so that way if they drool, they don't necessarily drool on the belt. Something that you can wash, and diaper covers and all that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, well, when she told me that today, I was like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm up for it, but I don't necessarily know if I am totally capable of sewing all of that. Like, my sewing is limited, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm really excited to see Calliope and Emma, but I'm really kind of excited to see Calliope. I mean, I love Emma to death, but I mean, a toddler is not going to, you know, slave labor me. So I'm really excited about that. But other than that, this week is going to be, just kind of looking ahead, this week is going to be busy for me. I have 2 blood drawn appointments, and then our director of extension is having a mandatory webinar for all of us to attend about the Illinois state budget.
Exciting.
So exciting. Can't wait to get the news that we're getting cuts in funding and that kind of thing. If you follow the news, we've the budget was passed with, you know, some things that, you know, got modified and whatnot. So you can read up on that news at your leisure. But anywho, that's into a kind of depressing topic. But moving into taking a bow, I have a finished object.
And I don't, so go right ahead.
I actually finished this the first day of the pipeline retreat, but I forgot to bring it with me. This is the Gaptastic Cow. It's free on Ravelry, and I used 2 skeins of Kramer yarn, and it is Kramer yarn Perfection in the super bulky. It's 30% domestic merino, 70% acrylic. Sometimes when I see domestic merino, I'm like, oh, is it like feral, you know, merino? Like, do I ever think that? I just don't. Like, so I find it funny when it's actually domestic merino that's written on there. That's a side note. But anyways, I used 2 of those, and I used a size 13 US, and it's big. I'm actually not keeping this. I'm giving it to my cousin for her birthday. She doesn't watch the show, nor ever will, so no surprise there. But I really like it. It's really big. It's really bulky. My cousin's tinier, so she could probably wrap this around 3 times if she wanted to. But I don't really like things super close up to my neck. I do, but I don't. But this was an enjoyable knit. It went by really quickly. It's just seed stitch. No, like, that's not giving away since it's a free pattern. But yeah, I mean, like, it's really long. Quick pattern. I started it the 8th. I finished it the 13th. So, I mean, it really took, like, no time. It was big, bulky knitting. So if you're looking for a quick pattern, I recommend this. And I think I cast on 120. So, yeah. You can make it as big or as long or as wide as you want. So, that is my finished object.
Awesome. So, what's performing this week? Why don't you go first since I just started this needle?
I would love to.
Sorry.
So the main thing that I've been working on, again, because it's like a no-brainer, is my All of the Light boomerang. And I'm using Chicken in the Woods. It's a local dyer to us, and I am fairly certain she's not dyeing anymore. It is what it is. But the colorway is called Pumpkin Brown Fleck. It's 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. It's about 400 yards. And this is what it looks like. Oops. I had a problem with this. Now, I have mentioned on previous podcasts that I bought this yarn several years ago, at least minimum of 7 years. And I noticed, and I've always had it in the ball, because I had it wound. Because I think when you're first or beginning knitter, like, you just assume if you don't have a Swift or a ball winder, that it's best to get it wound. But, you know, if it sits in a cake too long, then things can happen. And so mine actually got felted in the center of it. And so I actually had to cut it and reattach it. And then it got knotted, so I had to, like, cut it and reattach it again. So what could have been only 2 ends to weave in is kind of not now. So it is what it is, but...
Wow, look at all that progress you made.
Yeah. I was probably about down to here last time, so I've made pretty significant progress. So, and the amount of yarn, thank you, that I have left is about this much. So I still have got a really decent amount to go through. So, and this is on size 6 US, which is a 4.0 millimeter. So that's going well, and I really like that. And that is in my Silver Shed USA bag. It's Babar themed. So that's my first work in progress. And my second work in progress is the domino hat by Susan B. Anderson for our color work cow. And I just realized I do not have the pattern with me. I forgot to include that, but Steve's like, I'm really surprised if you get this done, but it will be done.
She's got 2 days.
I got 2 days, and it's totally fine. But
And you're driving up to the Chicago suburbs tomorrow? That's taking how many hours out of your day?
Don't you worry about it. I will have it done. Steve has little faith in me. Oh.
I expect a picture texted to me before midnight on the 31st.
Okay. But I'm actually right where the color work starts. And the color work's only 16 rows. And then it's the rest of the hat. I mean, I can totally blow through that. That's not going to be a problem. So I'm using, these are actually leftovers from when I did the Mitered Crosses blanket. And this is Barocco Vintage. It's the regular Barocco Vintage, and it is in colorway. The main color is in 5117, and then the accent color, which I had started doing the hat in this color, but it was too splitty, and it was too dark to, like, see where the ribbing was, and so, like, I kept messing up the ribbing, which should not happen, but it was so splitty. That was part of it. But I still plan on using it, and it's in colorway 5188. And it's also Barocco Vintage. So
you decided against the red?
I did, because I have it in my project notes for a different project. The more that I looked at it, so. And then I was like, yeah, I do want to do that project. So, these are the 2 colors that will be, oops.
You're a hot mess over there.
So, and then this is in and I got this like a day after we recorded. But this is from Little Skein and the Big Wool. And I got this project bag. So, oops, thank you. But it's Llama Love. And I really enjoy it. And the inside of it's a green kind of daisy-ish thing pattern. So, that is what I'm actively working on.
Cool. Well, thank you for going first.
No problem.
So, the first thing I'm working on is the Norris sweater by Pam Powers. I'm using local alpaca mill spun. Worsted weight, dyed in our royalty colorway on size 8 US 5 millimeters. And, I was starting to feel guilty that this is starting to become the even start, but really it has, I shouldn't feel rushed. I made it very clear to the alpaca farmer that I was not going to be put on deadlines.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put one on myself. And I'm sorry if you guys have to sit through it, but you get to appreciate it a little bit longer. I mean, it's one of those things that if you podcast or you put yourself out there, you worry about. But like I was like, I did a lot of work on this week, and I looked at it this morning. I'm like, well, to people watching the show, it might not look like it, but anyway. So from the Dicky Doo above, I've started decreasing and shaping. For the underarms. So I'm out of the yoke section. I'm now at the underarms and decreasing out. So there's that.
But it's going to look really gorgeous when you're done.
I hope so. The alpaca farmer actually text messaged me this week. I totally forgot about it. To tell me that the jacket that you fell in love with, the Hugh Hefner multicolored jacket, won 3 ribbons at some event. So I'm sure 1 or 2 of them were for spinning because she hand spun all that yarn. But
I just have to totally say, like, it really is true because usually when you're knitting patterns for her, I'm like, it's not necessarily my style. But then when we put it on me to model it, it's like,
and
suck it up, Buttercup.
And she likes this pattern because here's the pattern of the cover of this. So she'll probably put it on and hate it.
Yep, probably.
Because you like it beforehand.
But I've been tempted to just be like, hey, can you pick out a sweater pattern for me? Because I obviously think you have great taste, but I hate what it looks like in the process.
The second thing I'm working on is the Though She Be But Little, She Is Fierce Shawlette by Raina Varsakis. I'm using a riot of color 80/20 superfine alpaca silk in the Midnight Rendezvous colorway on size 3S 3.25 millimeters. Excuse me. It is a little dense, but it's getting there. I did a little bit more work than last week. I'm so used to boomerang length, and so like at this point I'm like, oh, the rows are so long, but I'm nowhere near, finished. So from the Dicky Doo down, because I had just done an eyelet row, so I think I'm like 12 out of 16 repeats done, and before I have to do another eyelet row. Like I said, it's all garter stitch and eyelet. It's very simple. So I don't know who this is going to go home to yet, but I have fun thinking about it while I knit on it. So that's that. That's my silver shed eyeglasses bag. The third thing are the boyhood socks that I'm using Bleeding Man Fiber Arts Showstopper base in the boyhood colorway on size 1.5 US 2.5 millimeters. And this is going to be the April colorway of the month. So pre-orders for this will be going up on Wednesday morning, and they will stay up through the 8th. On the morning of the 9th, I will close them down. And again, I said your mileage may vary because of how I'm knitting these and the stitch count and everything. But these are the boyhood socks. I did do just a basic stockinette heel. You can see it did something a little different in the heel. But it did the swirling, and then it kind of did some short swirls, and then it did lightning bolts, and now it's going back into the swirling because I'm done with the gusset. So, again, your mileage may vary, but I think they're kind of fun. I think they're wacky and whimsical and, what adult doesn't want to be a kid again, and I don't know. That's kind of, I thought they were fun colors, but yet mature enough to be men, so boyhood. Anyway, so that's that. The last thing I'm working on is the Velvet Elvis Boomerang. Boomerang. And that is over here. And I meant to say, I had 2 people offer and send me leftovers for my very sad hoe of the show-off stranded socks that I was knitting in the Into the World Gloucester sock in the in our colorway. So somebody sent me a little bit to do in the regular base, and someone else is sending me in her Pakoku base or something, which I'll use for the toe. So I'm going to knit those, but I'm going to wait till I finish the shawl rather than just adding another whole whip. I finished one sock. I'm going to take a break from it, do that shawlette, and then I will just cast on the second one. I made decent progress on this, and again, I'm using a coin flip, and if it's heads, I do a stockinette row. If it's tails, I do a garter stitch row. So, see, something you might be interested in next time.
Yeah.
Just something fun and keeps it a little different. So, I like it. It gives it some texture. And this is out of Gail's Art, Sinful Base in the Velvet Elvis colorway on size 6 US 4mm. So that's where I've gotten this week. Like I said, I'm hoping to make progress. I doubt anything will get finished next week, but actually I could probably promise you that. Excuse me, I'm tired. I was ready to take a nap right before Callie got here, and I was like, oh, no. Anyway. In rehearsal, I don't have anything off the top of my head.
I do. Don't worry, the baby blanket ain't going anywhere. It's still on the list. But I do plan on making a shawl. And last time that I was here, so 2 weeks ago, I said that I really wanted to make the IWO from Barocco Folio number 344 pattern collection. And last time you did see that I had bought this coral color, kind of, it's really official color, 4524. So I had 3 skeins of these, and the pattern calls for 4, so 3 in the main color and 1 in the contrasting color. And I went to knit night this week, but I didn't stay because it was packed. Like, there was spinners, there was weavers, and then just knitters. It was crazy. I was like, I can't.
Wow.
Like, yeah, there was no space up front anywhere. Like, I would have had to sit in the back. Anywho, but I knew as soon as I bought this and I started, because Steve and I pretty much look at the same case every time we go into knit night, and so usually that's the case that has folio and has remix in it, and it's got a different yarn in there too.
I don't think she has remix.
She had like 4 skeins.
She told me she didn't like it. She decided not to keep it when I was working on my sweater.
That's right. It's something else. It's close to remix. It's a Barocco. Anyways, neither here nor there. But I knew that she had this colorway, and as soon as I remembered it, I was like, yes, have to go in and buy it. So I did. And it is this Barocco Folio 4548. But look how great these do look together. So I'm really excited. This is not as orange. It's more of a white pink coral. So I'm excited to do that because I think it will look really good. So I'm hoping to cast that on after I finish the domino hat on Tuesday at 11:59. So, and that is in my Amy Beth Fat Squirrel bag in the Charlie Harper that Steve so graciously gifted me. So that's what I have in rehearsal.
Behind the scenes, spinning. I wound off some plied hand spun this morning, and I finished the Twisted Fiber Art Superwash Merino in the Wilderness colorway. And I chain plied it, and I got 320 yards of a sport weight. And it looks a little crunchy right now. It's not because it's superwash merino, but it'll loft up and soften up after I wash and thwack it. Stay tuned if you're interested. This will be in the shop once it's washed and thwacked. And yeah, so because I'm now in a chain plying kick, and I almost went back to 2-ply this morning, and I talked myself out of it right as I was unbraiding the fiber. I'm starting to really like the roundedness of it. I can't get the best amount of yardage out of it, but there's always things you can find to do with, if it speaks to you, it speaks to you. So, there's that. And it's blowing out the color. There we go. So, I then picked up another braid from the commission spinning box, and I have 2 more after this one. And I grabbed my hand in and I picked out Sweet Georgia Superwash Merino in the Spring Garden colorway. So more spring purples and greens, but not so dark and saturated. A little more springy. And I decided on a whim, because you kind of got to set the pace at the beginning. I'm doing this a little bit thicker. I'm going to do a chain ply, but I'm spinning it thicker. So I've got to tell myself, don't go as thin as you can go, or thinner, just draft go, and that's odd for me. So I'm trying to get maybe like a worsted weight, because I don't want to keep sending the person who commissioned me to spin all this stuff like sport weight. That's what I do. I mean, she knew that going in. She doesn't care, but they figured I'd do something different. So that's what I'm spinning. In the spotlight, what are we watching? We have actually watched very little because of March Madness. My leading man has been glued to that, even though he doesn't watch basketball any other time. But I think that's most of America. So we have actually not watched last week's Walking Dead, and I think the season finale is tonight or next week. But I wouldn't know because I didn't get to watch it last week. It's still sitting in the DVR. We also did not watch Looking, which was the series finale. I came to find out this week. It was the season finale, and then I actually follow one of the actors on Instagram, and he had posted that it was a final goodbye for the show, which is really sad. I just feel like there's a lot of things in part of my culture that is not represented and given up on too quickly. I was a little disappointed to see that, but maybe another channel will pick it up. I don't know. And then that's pretty much all I watched. I started about 5 minutes of the following, and then we had to go get sign off our taxes. Yeah. A lot of indie dyers talk about this. This was our first full year in operation. I had overestimated in the whole year. Andy's like, no, it's not going to be that much. It was exactly how much I thought it was going to be. So, but it was a lot of money. A lot of money. But luckily, the way we set up our finances and everything, we have the money to pay it off. So, now we get to pay off some bills and do some stuff around the house, because we kind of keep all the business money, save it all year so that we can do stuff at the end. So, anyway, what else am I'm still reading The Strangers by Dean Koontz. It's getting interwoven. All the strangers have now met, or most of them. So I'm about almost 20 hours in. Oh, wow. And I've got about 10 hours left to go. Audible sent me a thing this week that they had specific books. You could buy 2 for 1 credit, and I had a credit actually sitting there. I thought I'd always use my credit ups, but I actually had a credit sitting there. So I bought some two cheesy books. Yeah. One's about a woman vampire. I don't know. I bought 2 cheesy. I was like, I can get 2 for the price of 1. So, I'll talk about those when those are sitting waiting for me. So I think that's pretty much all. I've been trying to catch up on podcasts. I'm only 70 some odd behind now.
I've given up. I'm going to watch it as soon as I can, in terms of, like, I'm hopefully going to have, like, everybody that I watch, you know, within a week or two, but I'm not keeping up crazy playlists.
Right. You just watched the most recent.
Yeah. I figure I'm going to work my way up to see it anyways, you know?
Right.
So, anywho, what I have been watching, so this is kind of craziness, but we have X amount of hours on our DVR, and we had like 68 things on our DVR. And so, like, we as a family committed to, like, actually watch what was on there, because, like, Mom tapes a lot of movies, and I tape, like, things that I'm gonna miss because I'm at work, and Dad tapes, like, random shows he thinks he's gonna fall asleep through. So that's kind of our DVR situation. And so we have worked over the past 4 weeks to get it down to 12. So it's exciting. And a lot of, like, Mom and Dad were like, we're just going to delete what we don't want to watch. And I was like, oh, the purpose of the DVR. And so anyhow, I went and saw Get Hard on Friday night with a coworker of mine. That's the new one with Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart, and it was very funny. But we were sitting in front of people that were just dumb. Like they just kept making stupid comments, and it would lead me to believe that they were slightly drunk as well. So it was kind of
surprised me at a movie like that.
Well,
on a Friday night.
Yeah. But it's a little frustrating, you know, like, because it is what it is. But no, it was a good movie. I'd like to see it again with less dumb people behind me. But I will say that it is very graphic in language, and there is some nudity that I would also be cautious about if that's not your thing. So, anywho, I thought it was good. I don't know if yeah. I'm just going to leave it there. And then my mom and I watched a movie last night, and it's called Elvis Has Left the Building. And it was a movie in 2004, or it got released in 2004. And I think it's really funny. It's kind of like an offbeat, like, B-grade movie, I feel like. I don't know who the main characters are, but or actors and actresses that play them. But basically the gist of the storyline is that there's a whole lot of Elvis impersonators, and they're coming to a conference or like a convention in Las Vegas, and they just keep dying. And the main character's name is Harmony, and like 3 of them die like while she's trying to get to Vegas. But her mom actually, in the movie, actually worked on Elvis's car, so like there is a connection. Like, she knew him like growing up, her mom knew him growing up, and so it's kind of an interesting movie. I'd say watch it if you get a chance. So yeah, I haven't really been watching a whole lot of TV lately, so I'm stockpiling that on the DVR. So yeah, that's what I've been watching.
We do not have a book review for you this week, though we'll have some in the future because I have bought two books. On a whim. One I've wanted, and the other one is a second of one I already have, and I think it's a good one to have on the shelves. So, anyway, cool. Those haven't come yet. But Stash Enhancement, my Three Waters Farm Top of the Month Club came this week, and I'm going to show it, so if you haven't received yours, look away. This month was Falkland, and it's called Cool Soil Blue Sky, and I read the little thing, and it was talking about how, you know, when spring comes, she gets into gardening, and so even my leading man was really impressed with it and really liked the colors. So
it's going to be beautiful spun up.
Yeah, I've seen...
Beautiful in the braid.
Right, and I've seen some people already starting to spin this, and last month's in their thread. So, and it comes in the smallest box. They like, you know, it's like that big of a box, and I'm like, how's 4 ounces gonna fit in there? But they make it work. So, and they have these cool label tags and labels that go with your order, and they're all professional and stuff. So I highly recommend it. It's a great deal at $22 a month with shipping. So can't wait to start spinning it up, and I think I'm going to be with them for a long haul. So I like it.
Cool. I showed my folio that I purchased, but I also purchased another Amy Beth bag, or Fat Squirrel bag. But it's more it's great.
More Charlie Harper-ness?
Yes. Sorry. I knew it was Charlie Harper, but in my mind I was like, oh, that's Charlie Sheen's character on 2.5 Men. Like, I always kind of like, yes, that's right, but then I was second guessing myself. But I love yellow, so I love this, and I love turquoise and yellow together, so even more. And I kind of fangirled when I opened it, just because I was like, oh, love Amy Beth. But anywho, it says, have a great day, much love, AB. But I was gonna, when I got it, I was like, I'm gonna be like, I've got Amy Beth's handwriting. When I got it, I was like, that's gonna be great. Then it's not so much. I mean, like, this is great, but like fangirling about it's not. It didn't translate well. And then I found $5.
Oh, yeah. What am I going to do with you?
Keep me around.
Tried to keep you around for dinner, but you don't want to. You can't anymore.
It's not that I don't want to.
We're having some baked steak and mashed potatoes and rolls. It's going to be delish. And maybe some corn on the cob.
Oh.
I wonder if that's what he's making as vegetables.
Anyway.
I think that's pretty much it for that. So a round of applause. We do want to tell you about our colorwork knit along, which ends in 2 days. Tuesday the 31st. Wednesday morning when I get up on the 1st, I will lock that thread, and we'll pull for winners for that knit along next weekend. And we have 2 wonderful prizes. I have some yarn that will be good for another colorwork project, and then we have a pattern from we have the Felicity Cowl pattern that I showed off last week by Megan Sanders, which I might get some folio for this week if we go to Knit Night. So you had to have started the project on or after February 1st. It must be finished on or before March 31st. And if you use any base of Leading Men Fiber Arts, you can post an FO picture twice to get 2 entries into the drawing. So
I have faith in everyone.
Do you want to talk about our upcoming knit along?
Yes. So our next knit along is going to be April, May, June. Sorry, my phone is a little cray-cray right now. I was not hoping for that email to come through. Sorry. So April, May, June, and we are doing lace work. So I plan to do the Boxam Hollow shawl by Paula from Knitting Pipeline in the colorway that Steve designed for the kit, and it's the darkest one, something slope.
It's the dark green, and it's not the...
Yes.
Well, I guess the purple's maybe a little lighter. Orchard slope.
Yes, it's orchard slope.
In our callback base.
Mm-hmm. So I plan on doing that, and I also plan on rocking out finishing the domino hat. So
I don't know what I'm going to do. I figure in that 3 months, something with lace is going to pop up on my needles, so I'm not too worried about it. We'll see what other knit-alongs there are and things like that with ZK and SSK, so I try to knit along with those. Plus, I need to be working on some shop samples, because, yeah, just because I do. Anyway, we also want to tell you, and the same thing applies for the lace. If you use any base of Leading Men Fiber Arts, you can get 2 entries. Lots of lovely lace in the shop. So, the March 2015 Race to the Finished Object Contest is coming to a close here as well on Tuesday. Again, I will lock that and open up a new one on Wednesday. We have a wonderful skein of Cascade 220 hand paints and a pattern from our featured designer, who is Lucia Payne of the Pearl of the Pacific podcast. So that'll be March. I have not picked out anything, but I think April will be a Dramatic Knits bag, medium-sized bag from the Silverside USA. I don't know which pattern yet. We have 2 of them. And then we'll have another pattern from Lucia. And that will finish us off for April. Will be Lucia's last month of being featured. So if you are a designer and you are interested in being featured on our podcast, please get in contact with me, Dramatic Knits on Ravelry, and let me know you're interested, and we can talk things out. I think that's pretty much it.
Ready for shop news?
Yep, so if you are not interested in things Leading Men Fiber Arts, we're going to move into center stage. And if that is the case, we'll see you next week. No hard feelings. But if you are interested, here we go. I've got lots to show, but really quickly I wanted to remind you that pre-orders for Boyhood are April colorway of the month, which looks like this, but scanned up. Those will go up April 1st through April 8th. We'll have them in all of our bases except lace and our BFL bases, though we are getting BFL in. Yeah, we're getting a lot of it in because it is very rare for our supplier to be able to get the quantities now that are being asked. So when I put in an estimate, sorry, Ernest is trying to get in my lap. When I put in an estimate for how much we were going to need in the next quarter, which I always overestimate, hoping that they'll have more on hand, that usually just means that they order that much thinking you'll have it, that you'll order it. Not that you have to pay for all of that. Well, because it is so limited, my supplier emailed me and goes, well, here's an invoice for all of it if you want it, and if not, it's going to go into general populace. And we're like, oh, because our soliloquy we've been wanting. So we ordered about 300 skeins of soliloquy, so to hopefully stop Bud. He wants in my lap, and I'm going to be moving. So we got about 300 skeins of soliloquy coming in, and a bunch of spotlight as well. So no.
Come on, Ernie.
Ugh. So that's coming. So if you've been waiting on BFL and our BFL yarns in colors that we don't have in the shop right now, there's still stuff in there, but they'll be coming. All right. We've been dyeing, like I said, a lot for show prep, but we are not like other businesses where we keep a lot of it aside. Everything goes up in the shop because we want to offer it to our everyday customers, and then we take everything we have to a show. So we have YarnCon coming up April 18th and 19th, which is a Saturday and Sunday in Chicago. We're really excited about it. We've got tweaks to the booth. We're adding, I'll tell you guys, we're adding patterns that are, we'll be selling patterns that have been designed in our yarns. So if you like some of the shop samples or things like that, you can purchase the pattern and the yarn. So we've been working with a lot of different designers that have featured our yarn, and working on getting all those printed off and coupon codes and tagging them, and it's been fun, but a lot of work. So what's been dyed up? We have some doubled colors, but I put them both in here so you can see the different bases. We have Poseidon on Showstopper, our 75-25 superwash merino nylon fingering weight, and Box Office, our worsted weight, which is 100% superwash merino. So this is Box Office, this is Showstopper, so that wonderful bluish green. And then we also did on Box Office and Showstopper Sprightly Endeavors, which has that golden tint to it. We have on Showcase, and Showcase is 490 yards of superwash merino fingering weight. Callback is 328 of superwash merino sport weight. We have Apocalypse. My leading man is working on getting this in all the different bases. So we also have, I thought we had another one. London Fog on Showcase. Lovely gray. We added more Showstopper. We had some in the shop, but we did a little bit more on Showstopper in that. We have a director's interpretation on Callback. My lead man decided to try to make a new colorway, even though, we don't want to be trying to stick to a schedule of one new colorway a month, but he just gets inspired, and sometimes it doesn't always work out. So this colorway may get a revamping of how it's done, but how it was, the colors were instituted and applied in this particular one, we did not fall in love with. So this is a director's interpretation. It's greens and yellows, and there's little bits of hints of blue, and he did it on fiber, and it came out gorgeous. So we'll see. If you're going to YarnCon, you'll see it. We also have on Showcase Lucky Charm. I have a lot of greens. I just have a lot of greens in general. Can you tell I love green? We have Foliage on Showcase and Callback. Foliage. Do you want it? No. Andy would be like, oh, it's good, but oh, because he's trying to get it all dyed up, so he has it for the show. We have Copper Cloud on Box Office, our worst way. We have Anne's Story. This is the first time I've dyed this up since having it as a specialty skein for the Anne of Green Gables kits. This came out a little bit darker than the Show Stealer, but this is on Showcase, the light fingering weight. We have Perfection on Showcase. We have Apple Bottom on Dramaturg, our DK weight. And I've had questions, why Apple Bottom? It's supposed to be Apple Bottom jeans. Because everybody's got a denim or faded jeans, and so I went a little more obscure. Sometimes I think it's a little too obscure. People don't get the joke. But that's okay.
These coordinate with boots with the fur.
I thought about it, but that would be like our Breaking Ground colorway, and we already have that. So we also have Glacial on Dramaturg. We have some Damn Straight on Showcase. We have some Sandcastle on Dramaturg. Two more. We haven't had an update like this in a while. We have some Into the Woods on Show Stealer, our MCN fingering weight. And then we have some Poison Apple on Dramaturg. And that's looking a little too orange. Maybe that's a little better. It's a very dark, rich, vibrant red. Lipstick red, almost. So, that's everything. And we've got a bunch sitting downstairs waiting for this week's updates. So keep your eyes and ears peeled. If you're not following me on on Instagram as Leading Men Fiber Arts, or our Facebook group, Leading Men Fiber Arts, please join both of those. That's the best way to stay updated as to when updates happen and what's included in them. You can also join the Ravelry group for Leading Men Fiber Arts. Not as many people have joined that group, but that's fine. But if you haven't, please come on over and join the Chit Chat group. We'd love it if you joined the Dramatic Knits Ravelry group. And if you are watching on iTunes, please leave a star rating or a full written review. We'd greatly appreciate it. Anything else you'd like to add, my dear?
Nope.
All right. Until next week.
We hope you
Knit something dramatic.